Founder of the Blackwater private security firm has a plan to reboot our war in Afghanistan, where U.S. troops have been in combat there for now 17 years. And to give us more information about that, One America's Neil W. McCabe spoke to Erik Prince about his plan and has more from Washington.
Erik Prince has a plan to rework how the United States approaches its goals in Afghanistan. It is a plan that transitions our traditional conventional forces away from the advise and assist mission there so that they can return to their core competencies. At the same time, it extends the influence of American culture and leverages the untapped reservoir of American combat veterans.
The president lately campaigned on ending endless wars. This is a way for him to do that, but keeping the lights on and the terrorists at bay in what would be a terror sanctuary if we just abandon it.
The stalemate in Afghanistan continues to cost Americans blood and treasure, with no end state soon. Now Prince is pitching a way for America to withdraw its military from Afghanistan without retreating and abandoning it to the terrorists. Prince said the key to the plan is addressing three priorities: mentor Afghani troops with long-term commitments from contracted military professionals, provide reliable air resources for combat fire and medical support, combined with professionalized controls over finances and inventories. Crucial to the plan is the replacement of U.S. military personnel with these civilian mentors. The long-term commitment would be through hiring military veterans who would be contracted for 3 and 5 years and assigned to the same unit in Afghanistan's military for that contract. This change breaks up the constant turnover that stymies sustained progress.
We've gone through 30 rotations of U.S. troops where they send a unit, they spend a couple of months in an area getting to know the terrain and the unit. They're productive for a couple months, and they spend the last month turning over and then rotating home, never to come back to the same area, to be replaced by another unit that's completely new and green to the area.
Prince said the contractors would bond with the Afghani soldiers and stay with them. That bond would be built up because the mentors and troops are living and fighting together.
And believe me, they're very incentivized to make sure that training happens because their lives depend on the effectiveness of that Afghan unit.
Although the contractor mentors would be replacing U.S. military personnel, Prince said the mentors would be subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and there would be U.S. military courts, prosecutors, and defense lawyers with joint American and Afghani juries, with sentences carried out in the convicted mentor's home country.
The one part of the Afghan forces that fight well are the Afghan Special Forces because they're trained and mentored more like what I'm talking about by their U.S. Special Forces counterparts.
Reliable air support is critical for the success in Afghanistan, especially in combat against a wily enemy like the Taliban.
When the Taliban can maneuver and cut off or surround an Afghan unit and destroy it with a siege, that is unacceptable. You have to have some reliable air that shows up right now, not in 3 hours or the Afghan average of 8 to 10 hours.
For combat missions, the contractor pilots would be paired with Afghani servicemen with fire control of the trigger. For medical missions, the medevac would be connected to full combat surgical hospitals.
Right now, an Afghan soldier is 7 times as likely to die if they are wounded. Many of them are dying from what should be non-life-threatening wounds.
The third piece is the upgrading of the financial management of the military budget, logistics, and inventory in order to squeeze out the culture of corruption that has built up upon the billions of dollars the government has transferred from the American people to what passes for civil government in Afghanistan. Prince said his plan calls for securing the key logistics hubs in the country and then securing the financial systems for the military and public safety agencies.
I'm just talking about the Afghan security forces. There are 7 core facilities through which all the food, fuel, parts, and ammunition flows to those units. That's kind of the nexus of corruption. So you put some warehouse controllers, some accountability personnel there that keep better handle on that stuff, and you will get rid of the ghost soldiers. You'll get rid of the massive corruption that's eating the Afghan security forces alive.
The Prince plan offers a new approach to an old problem, an 18-year-old problem. If the U.S. left Afghanistan today, it would return tomorrow to a state similar to where it was in the beginning when this all started, a hostile government giving sanctuary to our enemies. Right now, the Pentagon is managing the problem. Prince said his plan solves the problem. Neil W. McCabe, One American News, Washington.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.